I was inspired by minimalism and coziness of Nordic builds, but don't get fooled by it. The video is going to be packed with tips and tricks using just the base game. So get comfy, take a snack, and let's hop into the build. Directly from the beginning I will show you how to make your build architecturally more interesting. Build your main construction and add a roof on the top, one tile to the front. Build construction under it, put standard gabled roof to the rest. Place glass wall on the gabled roof walls. Take second half gabled roof, put it 1 or 2 tiles away from the first one and place it in front of your main construction. Prolong only the shingles. Build supporting construction under, prolong your glass walls, and there you go! I've also made this tutorial as a short, so make sure to subscribe to receive a notification every time I post a short tutorial. Unfortunately, not every tip makes it to the shorts, so to learn more, please check out my Speedbuild videos, especially the one where I've shared 18 base game tips and tricks. Coming back to the building, I wanted to have plenty of windows and I wanted to have a nuke which will be a dining room. I've also desperately wanted to have a tall glass door into the dining room. To achieve this, build 2 diagonal walls, put a spandrel in between, place windows of your choice on the walls. I've also recently posted a modern farmhouse build where I made a sliding barn door, so make sure to check out also that. I very much enjoyed building this build. Usually when I'm building, I'm checking up front what are the characteristics of the specific style which I'm going to use, and then I'm using my imagination and my life experiences which I had over the years for similar builds. So in this case I wanted to have it minimalistic, I wanted to use natural materials, natural colors, big glass windows, which interestingly it comes from the fact that in these Nordic regions the winter days are short, so it's to maximize the natural light. I didn't know that up front, but it makes a lot of sense. Speaking of natural, I'm going to use a lot of woods here, from the floors to furniture to the outside of the build. I'm also going to use neutral palette, what I said before, and I'm going to use these gray walls. I rarely do a dark builds, but here I think it fits so perfectly. Also now you can see me doing the exterior. I firstly was thinking, or I definitely knew, I want to have a grey and brown. This was my color scheme. But I was thinking a stone, a bricks. Then at the end I swapped it with the wood and I think it fits way better and is in line with the style I was building here. Also, if you are thinking about the Nordic regions, they are cold by nature, not long daylights, not long sun exposure, so it's just logical that there will be a lot of wood since the wood is way better heat insulator. And speaking of heat, I'm so happy that this logic applied here in this build because that justified me building a fireplace, which I in majority of the cases put into my builds, but here it just made logical sense. And once I built it, I imagine what a cozy thing it will be if I would have a reading nook next to it. So I created this nook and I placed there a seating, which you can also do just with the base game. So you just need to use the ottomans from the base game and the kitchen cabinets. You have to place a wall and place the kitchen cabinets facing the other way on the wall. Once you do that, delete the walls, place the ottomans back, raise them up with the key 9, and you have a beautiful seating area for your Sims to read. I mean, just stop for a moment and imagine snow falling, you see it through this huge window, and you are next to a fireplace, in your blanket, getting cozy, drinking a cocoa. I'm smiling just thinking about it. And now you see me actually building a library. I enjoyed having these super tall walls, but in the Sims base game we don't have really a tall library shelf, so I had to be creative and do it myself. I think it turned out pretty well. I also tried to redecorate it a little, that it's not samey everywhere. And speaking of samey, I will show you how to make a kitchen a little different. So use the cabinet, put it a little higher, place there 2 stoves, and you can totally have this built-in stove situation where your sim can actually cook. And by the way, the kitchen cabinets which I use, I never use. This is like a base game. This color I never use. I think it's normally very ugly, but here, for some reason, it fits so perfectly with the whole color scheme, with everything, this wood around, the grayish. I think the kitchen counter could have been a little different, maybe like stone texture or something, but hey, you cannot have it all, right? I also enjoyed placing the kitchen cabinets because it's also giving a little variety with these plates and everything. You need to be a little careful because they don't clip to each other in some cases, so you need to be careful where you place them or what. But once you do, it looks different than when you have only the same cabinets on the walls. And this is exactly what I did here. And since I use these tall walls, I put way more cabinetry on top of it. If my sister will be now watching, she will be questioning, how are the Sims supposed to get it there? And it's a valid question. I have no clue, but I've seen kitchens like this also in the showrooms, so I guess there is a way. But moving on into the living room, I know we are talking minimalist, but still we can decorate it, it feels more homey. So I put there this rug, it's a base game one, and it has all these patterns which are so Scandinavian-like. Oh, I used it several times during this build. And now you can also see me using another hack by creating a planter pot which does not exist in the base game, because sometimes you want to have taller flowers, but they are not there. So what you can do is taking the lip balm from the debug menu, size it up a bunch of times and use it as a planter box. Genius! Moving on into the bathroom, I made a short for this hack, but I will also repeat it here. So you do not need to have the sleek bathroom kit to be able to create a backsplash behind your bathtub or toilet. Just use a wall bend from a wall sculpture category and place 6 behind your tub, 3 front and 3 back if you want to cover the back part. Use 4 behind the toilet, 2 front and 2 back. You will need to delete the walls behind to place the vents, or go to the debug menu and use the same object. Unfortunately, it's called only debug, so you need to scroll base game category to find it. But once you do, you can just stack them as you want. You don't need to delete any walls, clutter the connections with the decoration, and there you go. If you were not able to follow me here and it was too fast for you, make sure to check my shorts where it's explained in more detail. I even show where to find the vents and the debug items. I also love doing those tips. I was playing myself on the console where you cannot really use the tool mode, you cannot use the CC. You are sticked with the game, and if you like just one object from the kids or from the DLCs, it's a shame to spend money on the whole tag, especially $40. That's really a lot of money. So I was trying to find ways how to replace the object, and I would give whatever for someone who would share this with me and make my life easier. So I hope by doing this I make your life a little more easier, a little more fun. Now, if you're watching my builds, you know that I'm majority of the time building the built-in closet, so it's exactly what I'm going to do also here. I will also show you how to make a sliding door in the base game where we don't actually have the sliding door. But before I will do that, I will also share with you a hack how to create a vanity table in the base game. So delete the walls, choose the mirror of your choice, place it on the table in the way how you want, put the walls back, and there you go, you have a vanity table. I also made a short, so in case you missed it or in case you need it a little slower and with more instructions, make sure to check it out. But moving back to the closet, there are a couple of ways how you can make a glass door there and make it more built in. Firstly, I just put the wall there and used the glass wall, but it looked odd to me, so then I replaced it with the windows, putting them next to each other to make an illusion of the sliding door. I know it's not functional, but in The Sims, the only place which your sim needs to change is actually the mirror. So, and that's standing there 3 times actually. But now you see me decorating the kids' room, and that's going to be the only room which is going to be really cluttered. As I said, minimalistic build, I was trying not to clutter the space, just put their basic necessities. But with the kids' room, I'm always enjoying them, so I really wanted to play there. I wanted to put there plenty of toys, but I still wanted to make it functional. You see, the room is quite small, so I tried to fit there as much as was possible. And it's also only for 1 kid, although if you will have 2 kids, you can totally use the bunk beds and you can squeeze 2 kids into this build. I've also placed into the room the Kulala lamp. I don't really like how it looks, but for the gameplay, it's so useful when your sim kid is waking up in the night that it has a monster under the bed. With this lamp, you should not have this problem. And speaking of practicality, I also try to maximize the space, so I put under the stairs the painting for your sim to skill build, since I realized there is not much skill building in this house, and as we all know, it's a great way how to make money when you are short on cash with the Sims. And as the last room, I'm going to make a hall which is going to be simple, functional, wardrobe in the corner, seating area next to it where your sim, if he could, would put down his shoes. On the other side is going to stand a mirror, because at least for me, when I'm leaving the house, I'm doing the final touches in it. And with that, we are leaving the inside and moving to the outside. As I said, it's a Nordic inspired build, so I wanted to have it centered in the nature. Therefore, I built it in Bringleton Bay, where it's just a lot of trees all around, which I embraced by building even more. I also wanted to have a wooden terrace with a small pool in case it's a warm day that the Sims can also swim. Plus, there are no gym equipments really, so it's a good place where you can build up your fitness level skills. And I was also imagining how beautiful this would be if the family would just sit outside, grill, enjoy the day, parents wooing in the jacuzzi when kids are not at home. I also built the ceiling over my terrace, again from practical reasons, in case it will rain, which in this area it does a lot, that the Sims are hidden. I know the Sims will want to run inside anyway, but in reality, I can imagine this would be a beautiful place to sit during the rainy days. But with that said, we are heading towards the end, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you got inspired in some way. I hope this was useful to you in some way. Maybe you learned something which you didn't know so far, or if you knew all of this already, then maybe it was just a repetition for you. However, have a wonderful day and see you again next time. Bye bye!